Okay, well, it just cut me off. Now that I kind of get into like understanding what's going on with the thing, just cuts me off. I just go in and delete everything. Like it was so hard. I kept saving everything before, and then when it just took everything off, now it's so weird to just keep deleting all this stuff. So I just go in and delete all the videos again. And so I have to go in and delete them. Like obviously every. I don't even know what their bullshit with their iCloud and their iPhone and their Apple and stuff. I just saw footage of too was these people in China that I think it was either a Google or Apple place that they worked, a corporate, they were making something. It was definitely like a manufacturing plant or something. But then all of a sudden they just closed it down with everybody in it and wouldn't let them leave and said it was COVID quarantine or something. And so then they just held them captive. And so then they started running out of food. So then the footage is showing them all escaping and jumping over this fence and walking down this long highway to get to town. They all had to escape, like a prison escape from work. That is what I keep seeing and seeing and seeing these people complaining about their jobs. Another thing that I keep seeing people complain about is their service. Their service, going out to eat, and the food and the service and stuff. It's like I'm seriously just dumbfounded at this point. Like it blows my fucking mind. Like seriously, you're just going out to dinner like nothing's going on, expecting like top service everywhere you go, even though every place is understaffed, nobody's working, there's sickness everywhere. Now they've decided Dovic's gone, but we've got this killer other flu coming in and everybody's getting these. Oh, it's like, what in the motherfucking, oh God, I can't even, like, oh God, I'm really trying not to be judgmental or be like, oh, I don't even know. Like, I don't understand it at all. Like, it just, like, it is pointless for me to even say. Like, if you can't see and you don't think things through in a deeper way, then, this is what life's here to teach you. Like, you're about to learn some hard-ass lessons. And one of the videos that I saw this morning was this, a whole shit ton of them wanting to be heard. They're being not heard. Some are dying before they get to be heard, but they're all trying to speak out, and they're forming groups. Injured people, they're forming groups, and they're trying to really get their message out there for people. So, anyways, that there's a lot of different footage about that stuff, but I wanted to finish the story what I was telling about that girl. So, because I'm like, it's so strange. Like in my mind, I've already asked the question at that point. It's so strange. Why would she be doing that? And so they're always showing me and telling me. And I don't know how accurate it is. I'd have to know the person for having confirmation. But because to me, if you are a mixed person, yeah, you may look darker. Maybe you even have people who treat you like you're a black person, white people or Mexican people or Asian people, whatever, all Chinese, I don't even know what you're supposed to call everybody now. It's so fucking ridiculous. But so different people. Yeah, if they see a mixed person that looks more darker, black person or something, then they could treat them as they're just full black person. But then that person go around a bunch of black people, like marry into a family of all these black people, and you're kind of rejected. You're not really one of us. Well, everybody thinks I'm black. I go around the world and people look at me and I'm treated like I'm black. Yeah, but you don't have the same things. You're not dealing with, you don't have to deal with the nappy hair. You don't have to deal with the ashen skin. You're not really having a black experience just because people assume you're black because you got dark skin and curly hair. And so I think there's just a lot of like identity crises and stuff, and then they get out there, I've got to prove I'm really black. I've got to prove it, to my children. They have nappy hair. I've got to fix their hair. You know what I mean? There's just so much more going on with people than what we think. And there's so much about just people feeling rejected, people feeling unseen, unloved, unappreciated. That's the main thing. I was thinking about this morning too, is like, I never had any problem getting boyfriend after boyfriend, husband after husband, relationship after relationship. I could be in a relationship all day, every day. Yeah, if that's what I wanted to do. The problem is finding people who appreciate you and love you and see you for who you are. That's the problem to me, is finding people who are the same, like the caliber of what. But see, when you don't love yourself, you're putting it out there. You are willing to take whoever. And, whoever, if you're nice to me for 5 minutes, and then I can't even tell you how many different guys, like, then after they're done being nice to you, and then you're like, what happened to them? What happened to them? It's like, it's all fake. It's all an illusion. They don't really love you. They don't really care about you. They just, there's something weird going on. There's so much weird stuff going on in this world, all based on the surface of people, and never going in deeper. And then on the other side of that, we have all these people who feel unseen and unheard and unappreciated. And we have to be the ones who see, like, okay, that's the problem. So we all feel well, in a lot of cases, people feel unlovable. Like you feel like you're not good enough, and like, it's no wonder nobody likes me. I'm not good enough, because they have given you every tool in your box to figure out everything wrong with you, to hate yourself. You're not good enough. You're not like everybody else. All of the stuff to get you to not like yourself. And so then you just go out into the world and already feeling bad about yourself. And then so somebody comes up and is nice to you, then you think, oh, there's my answer. There's my savior. Let me go, in that direction. And to me, I have seen it as way, way more important to have people around you who appreciate you for who you are, than just to have a bunch of people around you just to be around you. Like, there's no it's just so empty. Like, I would rather be alone than be in a room full of people who don't see me, because you feel even more alone when you're surrounded by people who don't see you. And that's kind of like what I feel like is part of what I've been processing, being here and feeling like I'm seen, but I'm unseen. Like, people watch me, but they don't know me. And it is, I don't know. It's just, it's weird. Another thing too that I was thinking was kind of weird. Like, this morning I was in that back bedroom, and there's all these mirrors, like I said, that how kind of like feng shui or whatever, like you're supposed to line them up to move energy through a room. And when all these people started talking about mirrors or portals, you're supposed to cover them. And then when all this stuff started talking, and people were like, "Oh, we're moving into 5D, and the monsters are coming and they're getting us, and they're coming through the mirrors, and cover your mirrors," and all this stuff, like some of the stuff I've seen. And it's right at that window that when I was doing those mushrooms, and I looked out and I saw that magic path. And that magic path goes right through here, goes right through my hallway. And so when I was looking in there this morning, and how the mirrors were, and seeing all of this, and how the window, I was like, no wonder this is a portal. They are just coming all right through there. So, unless I want to go in, I guess, and move all the mirrors and cover everything, and then it just becomes kind of stale. I think you just got to not be scared of all, because there's portals all around us. Like, there really is so much magic all around us. Just people don't know, because they're so focused on the real world. The real world is fake as fuck. It's artificial as fuck, and it's for people to keep on trying to see, to keep trying to understand. Like, they go to these jobs, and this job's taking. How much are you willing to give? These people who just keep going out to restaurants, like, and going to concerts, just like everything's fine and dandy. Everything's going back to normal. This is just regular life. It's like, it's so strange. I just don't understand. Like, all these places are closing down and closing down. I just saw this footage. This girl, she was a New Jersey girl, or no, she was New York City. And so she had that thick kind of accent. And she was doing a video and saying, I don't know. I think she must have been doing some videos, and people were saying, you need to leave New York. New York's in danger, blah, blah, blah. Because she's like, I'm never leaving New York. New York, I'm raised, born, whatever, all that stuff. And this is my place, and I'll never leave. And, it's been the best place in the whole world, and it's going to go back and be the best place again, and all this stuff. And I was like, what? What? Oh, what? And so I, of course, had to say something, and I just said, well, what did I say? I wasn't trying to be rude or snotty or anything like that. I said something like, we're in a time of change. Nothing's going back to the way it was. And go look at the projected naval map. New York's gone. Like, you're going to stay there, go down with the ship. Like, the government's telling you New York's going to be gone. Like, there's so much prophecy out there that's telling you that New York's going to be gone. Like, New York's going to be gone. Like, if you, and I said, you were really lucky to get to have that experience. Like, there's a lot of us who wanted that experience to get to go to New York and never got to, and you got that experience. So, it's really fortunate. And that's why I saw this other person with the Portland video talking about, I've been here for my whole life or whatever, and I just can't even believe this. And I was like, yeah, but you got to think about, you were lucky that you got to experience that when, beforehand. There's so many places, especially the New York one. Man, I wanted to go so bad. And even after the quarantine started, the first Christmas, in that period of time, because it was 2 weeks, it was only supposed to be, and everything's going to be all better. And then I had tickets to New York to go shopping at Christmas. No, nothing ever. And it's only gotten worse and worse. I can't even believe people are traveling and going to those places. It's like, you're obviously not paying attention to the crime that's happening. Like, it's bad, real bad. Like, people are, there's horrible crimes going on in these big cities for the people who are staying in them. And I don't get, like, the people are just staying because they think everybody's coming back. It's like the city is being abandoned. Like, go watch these Armageddon movies and shit like that. Like, the big cities are always just cleared out, desolate, That's what it's going to be. And that's for sure. There's nothing going back and rebuilding these cities. They're going to, I don't know, be the holdouts who just stay there waiting for another job. Like, I don't even know how long it can go on with these people doing this. Sitting there waiting for a service at a table, like, somewhere. Like, it's bizarre to me. It is to me, like, to me, it kind of is like ghosts. To me, like, yesterday, it was really giving me the perspective of, it's already over, it's already done, but these people are like ghosts holding on to something that's already done. It's already over, it's already gone. Going into restaurants, pretending like you're ever going to go back to what it used to be. Like, the people who are even working don't want to be there. They're only working because they don't know what else to do. They're desperate. They're scared. Most people have got so much sickness. People are just going around with sickness. I mean, the amount of people who just talk openly now about, there's video. I've seen so many people's poop now. People just put videos of their poop showing all the worms and all of the stuff coming out of them. People are so full of parasites, and people are just so sick. And then you want to go out and have them make your dinner. And besides the fact that the places where these people are getting the food source for the food they're cooking is these distribution factories. It's controlled. You're getting some really gross stuff. Like even when I had gone out to dinner a couple times over since 2020 began. So I think I've been out to dinner probably, I don't know, 10 times. Well, if you count going on the trips, yeah. And then I've eaten out, I don't know, maybe 25 times over the past couple years. So, definitely when you live rural, you're not going to just jump in your car and drive into town for the drop of the hat. You just get used to not doing that kind of stuff. If I was still living in Spokane, I probably would have been out to dinner more, because so many people are always like, let's go out, let's go have fun, let's go. But being out here, I've gotten a new perspective. And then from this perspective, it's like, oh, I can't even believe people are doing this. It's so mental. But when I had gone, every single time, like I have gone and ordered something, like even when I was in Spokane and I went to that Mexican restaurant, I ordered something I had ordered 1,000,000 times. It was disgusting. When I went up here with the neighbor lady who's still, this pops into my head all the time, like, because the last time she'd asked me to come over and have a beer or something like that. And that was after the time, but she had told me like about the food alliance, like let's go in this alliance, but you got to be willing to watch everybody starve. And I was like, I don't think I'm the person for you. I've got my own food I'll share. No, you can't do that. It's like, okay, bye. Where does it? It's enough. Like your son wants to shoot people in the head. Like there's enough of this Christian stuff. I can't even handle it anymore. It's too weird. It's too violent. It's too vicious. It's too judgmental. It's too hateful. It's too like there's no hope. They got no hope. It's all just the end. It's the end of everything. It's the end of everything. It's like, dude, we are so far different. And there was other weird things when I went to that last one. But so I'd already decided, I'm just going to have to, just keep being like, oh, I'm busy. But when she had asked me the last time, I was kind of very abrupt, because it was when Stella was having her stroke or whatever the fuck has been going on with her. I have no idea. You can't trust the fucking medical to tell you anything. So they're just there to make money. They don't give a fuck. And so, and that, I see video after video after video. Either it's Western med or veterinarian medicine. It's the same story. Same story is you can't get service. You can't get this. People are being abused. People are being treated like shit. People are having just one thing after another. And they just are like, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. It's like, well, I can. Like, you better start. And who knows how many times they have to go through something and not believe it before that starts catching on and they start thinking, but I think the universe is going to give a big ol' helping hand on that scenario. But that really gets me going on the thing about the event and stuff. So, now with the planet so close and this more and more with the north and south, like the pole shift, like everything to flip the other direction. And that, is energetically, like we're not on a ball spinning, so we're not going to turn the ball like I used to think the whole ball was going to turn. But that was before I knew that they were lying about that whole thing. Like I was suspicious as a child, but now that I've seen all the stuff, that all of my stuff that I was saying, everybody else was saying, and now people have gone out to prove that was, that we were right when we were asking the questions to the teachers. Like, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, why can't we feel it? Well, how are we upside down? Well, all of that stuff, people have spent time proving it, but, and there's still so many people, like I'm telling you, people who think they're awake, people who are out there, spiritual leaders are out there, telling people about what's going on the globe. It's like, okay, you're so awake. Thank you. And one of the things, too, is this keeps popping into my head. Let's see if I can see it, because it keeps coming in and then going out, coming in, going out. I'll start talking about something and it will come back and be like, oh, I got to grab it. That's why I'm always just all over the place, because it just comes in and comes in. But anyways, there's just, I mean, stuff with the medicine, the stuff with the, as far as I'm concerned, so whatever is going to happen, when it is going to like flip or something, like now I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, so is this going to be the big event? But this is not, I don't think, I don't know. I mean, if the planet is about to be here and all this shift is happening, and we're already sending energy out and the energy is already coming back, and it's going to shift. A lot of people, I know for sure, a lot of people are going to die. I think a lot of people are already dying. Like with these temperatures and stuff, I don't understand how you could be outside and be surviving in this stuff. And now they've made it illegal for you to be homeless in LA. It's illegal. Like, so you're going to fill up the prisons now? You're going to go out and arrest all the homeless people? Like everything, like they don't give a shit about people. I can't even believe people even. And so many people, oh, you got to get out there and you got to, we're going to take it back. We're going to go red. All this bullshit. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's the same as these people to me who are like, oh, I can't believe we went to Applebee's and we just didn't even get good service. You know, our food wasn't even cooked. And it's like, oh, motherfucking Jesus Christ. It's the same thing, though, with these people who think like, yeah, well, we're just going to get out there. We're going to take it back. We're taking this country back. Okay. It's all going to be done right then and there. We're gonna just go in. We're gonna vote. There's not gonna be any cheating, nothing, because they would never do that, you know. And you really think you can override it? Like you think enough of us go out there and we take a stand against them? That's all we gotta do. We just gotta get out there and do that. To me, that I think tomorrow. What is this? This is Sunday, so Monday and Wednesday, of course, is payday. So Wednesday, I want to go out and try and get some more stuff. But, and I'm going to get some RSO for Stella and see if that will help her sleep at night. Like this kind of shit just pisses me off. You wake me up, you don't let me sleep, and then you just come and get right under my face and just sit and snore. Like you're just snoozing away. Good for you. It's like, God, bitch. Ugh. Ugh. So frustrating. God, I'm so frustrated. And then all this intensity, it just gets me in such a mood. But anyway, so, you know, is this going to be the whole thing? Once we get through this, are we going to be just headed more towards our thing? Or do we have some other situation that is still left to come? Like I started thinking maybe this is, it's all it is going to be, is this great awakening thing. And, you know, whatever is going to happen, whatever this event, and I don't even know at this point. Is it going to be, you know, this ship or the Anunnaki coming back or whatever, and that's going to be what part of this is? I don't even know. Like there's so much. I mean, we got wars, we got banks, we got so much stuff happening. Like it could be anything. And all this stuff is to wake people up, to get them to pay attention, to understand, to question things, to come into themselves. And so, you know, I completely get, you know, I get when I see stuff, people saying stuff. Like I get it on one hand, but I'm just like dumbfounded on another. Like I can't even believe how slow it is. Like, what is going on in your mind? It's so strange. But there's, you know, and then to me it's like, well, you know, some of those people, are they just the ones that are leaving? They're just, their guides are telling them, get out there and enjoy it while you can, because you're about to go. Like, I don't know. It seems like, you know, and it makes me curious, how many of us are really going to be going? Like if this is the big, you know, culling, the big separation of, you know, between the people who are awake and the people who aren't, then there'd be so many people who wouldn't be going. Like I've seen so many people now saying stuff about the spiritual people. The spiritual people is kind of like, to me, the spiritual movement is a lot of the progressive liberal, like I said, they've got the costumes, they've got all the stuff. It's all just, it's still all very superficial and shallow. And so, one of the videos I saw, and I've seen a whole bunch of these different ones, but talking to these people who think that they're so spiritually advanced when all they do is do ayahuasca over and over and over and over in order to be spiritual. Like, they're not connecting. They're not really doing the work. They're not healing. It's not doing the work. They're just going out and having some kind of experience, like this supernatural, spiritual experience. And then they think that they're just completely, all opened up because they see the world more through that lens, like they can see it more clearly and know that it's not this other thing. But then they're not doing any of the work, but they're out there, leading people on this spiritual journey. But then they just are all about the go and do ayahuasca all the time. Go do ayahuasca. Like, these people, it's become like go do it every weekend kind of thing. It's like getting kind of strange. And so I've seen a lot of people, because I think some people who are out there speaking, they go onto those pages and, it's kind of like punishment. Like, I run across some of the stuff people say, but I don't go out searching for it. But I think some people search for it. And so then they see some of the stuff being said, and so then they go out and say it. And so it seems that there's like a whole movement of these spiritually advanced people, but all they do is do drugs. They don't really do any work. They just do drugs. It's kind of strange. And I don't mean drugs of like getting out, but it's using something to just change your consciousness, to open it up, and you gotta learn how to do it without anything. Like, I can sit and talk openly. Like, I've been able to talk openly with the other side since I was a kid. I definitely wasn't on drugs. I wasn't using anything to do it. The stuff that I've had happen when I did mushrooms, which I wasn't even expecting. I mean, I wasn't doing mushrooms to try and go out and have some kind of ayahuasca experience. I did it because I got older, I was single, I was had a brain injury. I was just trying to, I wanted to experience some stuff in life. Like, when you're met with, you go in the hospital and you're lucky to come out alive, and you just change the way you look at a lot of stuff, through that process. But I definitely was like, wow, I never did mushrooms. I want to do mushrooms. And then I did them. And we went to the barter fair, and I went with my older kids, and I even took my teenagers, and I even was like, yeah, do the mushrooms. One of my daughters, she was like, I was 13. I was like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I was pretty deep in my brain injury at that point. But I was like, I was a period of time where I was, I was a different kind of mom, I guess. So I was like, we went, and it was just the most fun. Oh my gosh. It was just so fun. Everybody was laughing and just having a good time. And then when I went to bed, I was full on having visual stuff, and I couldn't stop laughing. I just had such a good time. And so then I was constantly talking about, oh my God, mushrooms are so fun. They're so fun. It's so, and the visualization, like, oh my God, it is like another level, like, what you can see and stuff. And so then, and then me always being like, yeah, mushrooms is so fun. Then I'd have other people, let's do some mushrooms. And I'd be like, okay. And so like right now I have a lot of them, because I don't ever do them, but I'm constantly getting them given to me. But I have them in case, if somebody came and wanted, but I've had such intense experiences. It's like, oh, I don't know. To me, the microdosing, but I don't really want to do anything like that all the time. And so, I mean, I smoke marijuana, but to me that is I think that is so built up as bullshit, just because it does so many other things. Like, I'm sitting here crocheting and my hands start cramping, take a couple hits and your hands aren't cramping and you go back to doing what you're doing. So there's other things about that is just, people can use that for anxiety because it relaxes their mind and like all sorts of stuff. So it isn't just because you go out and have these crazy experiences like mushrooms or ayahuasca or something. Like, I don't even know what happens on ayahuasca. But so when I did the mushrooms the other times when I had an intense one was the one time with my ex-husband, the last husband. He'd wanted to do them, and so I did them with him, and everything turned into a cartoon. Like, I was in a cartoon for 4 hours or something like that. It was so intense. And then after I came out of it, it was so weird. Everything just was a cartoon. I was everything, and he was just, I don't even know. He couldn't walk. He looked like a marionette when he would walk, and he couldn't stop laughing, and he would go and he would start walking, and he would walk into a wall, and then he didn't know how to get off the wall. And he would just stand there laughing and doing this. It was weird. It was such a weird experience. And on top of it, I kept thinking like he was going to have a seizure or something. And how am I going to deal with this? What am I going to do when the ambulance comes? And he had already said if he had a seizure, just leave him. He'll be fine. He had epilepsy, so... But people use mushrooms for epilepsy, but still, when you're going to go in and do it with somebody, then it's like, oh, what if they start having a seizure? I already had seen that. It's not fun. I had worked on the neuro floor. I'd seen a lot of seizures. It's like, ugh. So, anyways, so I had that nerve-wracking thing the whole time. And then I went in after I finally wore off. For months and months, I kept seeing a blue light everywhere I would look. There was a blue light. I was like, man, I think I did too much or something. I was so intense. And then that day, because the person who's constantly giving them to me, and they said, oh, make a tea. That's how it works best. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll sit here. I'm just sitting here by myself. I'll sit here. I was probably crocheting. And I was like, I'll sit here and watch a movie and crochet and just kick back, go put on some funny movie and just sit here and laugh and have a good time. And so I made my tea and I sat there having a couple sips. And then my daughter called because she was moving into a place, wanted to show me her place. So she's walking around, and I had just had a couple sips. And then she's walking around, I'm like, oh my God, you got to move slower. I did some mushrooms. You're freaking me out, man. And so then her husband starts laughing, and so he starts talking to me, and then I told him what I had done, and he's like, oh shit, that's way stronger. I was like 80 times stronger when you do it that way. So I went and put the tea up. I'd only had a few sips, a few too many. I was a hardcore. Oh my gosh. That's when I saw the magic path. That's when I went somewhere. I went to this place, I could see it, like I was there. I could feel the music and all this stuff, and it was so weird. A couple weeks later, when he sent me this video of this festival or something, and all these people were dancing and everything, and the music, it was the same as where I had gone. And I had told him, I was like, oh my God, I was there. And I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. So, I completely, like, I didn't do any of that stuff so I could see that the world is different than I thought. Like, I always knew it was different than what most people thought. I just couldn't understand how people's minds were so controlled. I really couldn't figure it out for so long. It wasn't until 2020, there's something in my eye. It wasn't until 2020 that, where I started seeing how manipulated people were. And then it started making so much sense. No wonder that they all think like there's no aliens and no ghosts and all this stuff. They're taught that. And people like me are said to be crazy We're crazy people. And it's kind of weird too, is then they started doing all that promotion on reality TV of psychics and stuff. These psychics, and that is where I started thinking, like, oh, so it's some special gift. Like, it's different. And I think most people don't even realize that they already are psychic. Like, so many people, if people would start realizing that they are not manufacturing thoughts, thoughts are being sent to you. You are receiving thoughts. You are receiving information from other beings, and you're not thinking it and making stuff up. And if people could just start understanding that and start realizing they're in communication, that it isn't, this place is so different than what people think it is. So, but anyways, I don't know if it is going to be this planet's going to come in and a bunch of Anunnaki is going to get off and everything is going to split. Like, I don't, there's so much to watch and see how this goes down. Like, for so long, I kept thinking that this big event would happen and it was going to wake everybody up and then everybody start healing. And then there would be this separation. But, now it keeps being like, is this about to be this separation now? And then the people that are left are just going to heal. And I don't know, whatever is going to go down, I know for sure that whatever is going to go down is not going to be better for a while. It's going to probably be worse, but it is not going to be as the same kind of, like, we won't be getting sprayed and stuff. It is going to be people reacting and freaking out about the world, and how they're going to be so confused. Like, it's just going to be weird how confused people are going to become when the truth is shown, because they're so sure the world is different than what they think it is. I mean, they're so sure that they understand the world, but it's so different than what they think it is. So it's going to be, but anyways, now it's just like, man, I don't know. I would have thought everybody would have had to be more people awakened, but maybe the amount of awake that they are is enough. And that all of this, so when this event happens, that then we go through the healing, and in that healing part, there's still going to be more death and stuff. People are going to take themselves out. But then once that kind of starts evaporating and getting better, then we'll just start going into the other progression. Maybe we don't have to do any of that other stuff where ships are going to come and take people who haven't raised their vibration high enough. I don't know. I just know a lot of stuff has to keep playing out. And it is curious. Like, I'm always paying attention. I'm always trying to watch things and stuff. Yesterday outside, it looks sepia. I was like, it keeps happening a lot where I'll go out and it just looks like everything is sepia. I feel like I'm on some old-fashioned looking postcard walking around or something. And like I said, it's like it's already the past. Like, this has already happened. We were already, like, some of us have already let go of it. The people who are holding on, the ghosts that are holding on, haven't let go yet. And they've got to go through the process to let go. And so, they're keeping things alive, but it's only alive to them. Like going out to Applebee's and going to Starbucks, any of that stuff, that's dead to me. That's no longer alive. That's no longer a part of my life. It's a part of their life, but they're holding on to something that's no longer there. It is there in their own minds. They're keeping it alive. They're creating that so that they can continue to have something that made sense to them. But everything's going to be ripped apart. Everything's going to fall down. Because the people at the top are all corrupt as fuck. They own everything. So how can the people at the top all go to jail and keep everything alive still? Like, it doesn't take a fucking brain scientist to figure out, like, this. All you gotta do is use logic and common sense. When the people who own every motherfucking thing in the world are being arrested, what happens to everything in the motherfucking world? Like, to me, it just like, I don't understand how people don't see it, but there is no hope for any of this stuff to go continue. It really, really is going to be like, I saw this footage yesterday, or maybe it was today, I don't even know. It was some person who was just showing this footage of like their farm, which I want to farm so bad now. So crazy too. I just think back on my dad and wanting off the farm so bad. Just got to get off the farm. I got to get out there. I got to make a name for myself. Get out there, he just went into, what is that? It was like Sodom and Gomorrah when you go out there and you start trying to make it like that. But, even during any time through this age, even if you owned a farm, you were still going to have to deal with the corporation. They've still done all sorts of stuff to interfere with our agriculture. So, but my dad's case of wanting to leave the farm and go out there and make it and make money and, just go out into those treachery and sex and alcohol. And I think he was already drinking. Like, I don't think he became an alcoholic. I think he started drinking at a young age, probably just because he felt bad about himself being poor or something. But now to me, it's like, I don't look at it like that at all. It's like, man, I just want to go out, live on a little farm and have my own little goats and chickens and place for my dogs, because I'm getting still with some friends, dogs to run. But this person's showing this footage, and I don't think you saw their house, but you're showing like their trees, and they have this beautiful like field, and then these trees out there. They had some fences, and then they had a whole like pond, and you can dig a pond for yourself. Like, we can make our own water sources. Like, all those things are so possible, and people just think, that they need a high rise or apartments or something to live. It's like, no, you just need to get out there and make your way in the world. Grow your own food and have your own place. Like, if you have a place that you don't have to pay for, you have food that you're growing, and you don't have to pay for resources, then what are you going to work for? Their whole thing was selling you resources, selling you what was given to you, what was your God-given right. And then they decided they were going to hold all of it and tell you, they had to manipulate everybody's mind to buy into their program. But then they're going to sell you the resources. And so when we shift out of that, and all of everything that is yours, and you don't have to go out and work to have what is your God-given born right, then look at, like, what do you do with your time? What do you do? There's like so much. You've got so much time then. I mean, you got to go out and you got to put time into taking care of yourself. You got to go out and work on your food, your place, and stuff like that. But like that one study had shown that in the 50s or 60s, I mean, people only needed to put like 10 or 15 hours of work into their whole thing. The rest of the time is free time. That's what they didn't want us to have. They didn't want us to have free time. So then they started selling you what you can do with your free time. Well, you could drive around this cool car in your free time. You know what else you could do? You could go on a vacation. You go to Disneyland on your free time. That's only going to cost you a little bit of money. So, work. You want to have a cool lifestyle. You want to have nice clothes. You want to have people like you. So that is, it's all just been a lifestyle that they were selling. It was always empty. You didn't, just because you had cute clothes and, a hot wife and a nice car, if you're a dick, nobody's going to like you. It's still the same. Like, if you haven't done your work, if you're still going out in the world being a dick, and then if you're a dick with money, then people are going to pretend they like you, even if they don't like you, which is even going to fuck with your head even more. So, this fake, phony-ass, weird lifestyle of bullshit that's all it is. It's just a trap to keep you chasing your tail your whole life, so you're not paying attention and you don't have any free time. Because really, when you're not paying for resources, you got all the time in the world to do whatever you want. And so that is where, you start finding what you're good at. Maybe you're a great musician. Maybe you find some other good musicians in your local community and you guys put together a little band. And then Saturday night, you start playing for the rest of the community and everybody comes and goes and starts dancing and having a good time. And people start bringing a potluck and everybody gets together on Saturday night and you guys get better and better. And the whole community comes out and enjoys your music with you and dances and you bring people together. Like, that's how I think things are going to go. And people who know how to do things, like somebody who knows how to paint or sew or cook, they can show other people how to do it. They can teach other people. Like, our way of learning is not going to be so structured. That was all structured to control our minds. But really, it's the seeker who wants to know itself and know its own knowledge. It's the knowledge to self, to know what you're good at, what you can do, and how you can share it with others. And that is this whole thing of self-discovery. And when you don't have to be spending all your time going and working, you have time to go out and discover who you are and what you're good at. And that is when you figure out what you like and what you're good at, then you have some sort of skill that you can go barter, sell, trade, something, maybe a service that you can do, like people who don't know. I think that all of our appliances and stuff are going to change. I think, it's probably going to be a part of their whole thing with this wiring and them wiring our houses to kill us and keep us sick and stuff. It's mental. But so I don't even know with the technology advancement, because we're going to go, it isn't like we're going to go up the steps on technology, because they've been going up the steps. They've been keeping us in the dark. So for us, it's going to be like we're way down here and we're going to go way up here. All of a sudden, it's just going to go boom, completely transform the whole society with technology that's been being repressed so much with our medical. That is going to be a big one. There's no way people are going to be going to hospitals when you can go to a healing center and be fixed. Why would you go and pay somebody and take pills that are not going to do anything but make you sicker? So all that, but more and more people have to keep seeing that the holes in what they've got going. The system is flawed in every way. And people have to see that so that they can see, like, I can have a better life. But, maybe you have a service. There's so many different things that people can do. Like, my daughter has all of these, the one who just split up with her husband, the one who is supposed to be coming every weekend. Now she's already got her another ticket to come. I'm like, well, we'll see. I don't think you're not. We get, whatever. And, but she keeps having all of these, like, troubled kids that keep gravitating towards her. And I was like, see, you could have a little halfway house, or you have all these young girls that you are there helping them get ready to go out into the world. That right there is a very valuable job. And there's so many people who are coming out of so much dysfunction and painful situations. And, that's a healing center right there. Having a safe place for kids to be able to grow and talk and develop. And so right there, that can develop into some sort of a business, and that's what she's been doing, but she's been doing it for other people, but doing it more for her own self-satisfaction and her own way to be able to make money. Like, I know that there will be a lot of government money, but it's going to actually be money that's just going back into the public, back into the world, but it's going to be kind of dripping in. But so there will be tons of money for people. Like, if you wanted to do something like that, like, you have these kids gravitating towards you, and you see, like, the problems and you want to help, there will be money for people. Like, you could open a ranch and have it all set up, a place for kids to come and heal. And, there's going to be a lot of money a lot of the money that is going to be coming in, as they're, like, releasing the gold back into the different communities and stuff, is going to be putting it into stuff that is productive like that for building communities. And there's going to be so much. Like our world is going to go as strong as everything has been in this pervy, criminal. It's going to be just as strong in the healing and spiritual as people begin to really connect to who they are and really wanting to understand themselves and aren't being controlled by somebody else's direction. So there's going to be so many people who are going to be doing so much healing. I mean, just the people with the mind control, what they did with the Bible to control people's minds about their creator and stuff like that. All those people, they've got to break free from the book and really start communicating from inside and start really feeling comfortable, just going directly to their spirit and not feeling, there's so many people who think like me talking to spirits is talking to devils and I'm being tricked all the time. There's so many people who think like that. And so they block themselves out from their own higher self's information. And that is why, so much of it comes in as thoughts. Like, so you don't really recognize. And it is it's kind of a transformation to get to that point where you start realizing you're being communicated with. But when this all, when the money starts being put back in, there is going to be like anything that people are doing that is to help, to build community, to do stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of money. I had heard that like back in 2020, and Charlie Ward was talking about that. There's tons and tons of money that they're going to be putting back into communities, and they're going to put it in by people who want to do good for communities. And, but it isn't going to be because, like right now, like you'd have so much shady people. That is like, that to me is the calling, is the shady bullshit is going to be gone. So it is going to be, we're going to go into a world that has got integrity and balance, but it's the us that is creating that. And so people who are not ready for that, people are still shady and, just want to fuck people over, they won't be going. And I don't, like I've said, like, I don't know if some of these people, they know these are their last days and they're just living them out, living to the fullest or whatever. I don't know. And I think that it's still close. I think that I really think the election of that is going to just set some shit off. I think it, and I think they're doing it on purpose. There's so much build up to this, like the commercials nonstop. They just keep building up and building up to this whole fucking bullshit. And they've got people, the people who think it's going to save them, the disappointment and the expectation and everything that they have riding on this. And then the people who are going to be outraged when it is blue and they see the cheating. I think they're going to make the cheating so obvious. And it is to just get these people to, like, I don't know how deep your outreach has to go before you start seeing the truth. Like, man, it's so crazy. They'll just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and getting madder and madder and madder. It's like, when are you going to see? There's nothing, you can't change this. You can't do anything about it. You got to let go. And so anyways, I don't know. I think for sure, I think this week, some places will be way worse. Like there'll be some places that we won't be able to tell anything's going on. But there's going to be other places that are just horrible. Chaos, violence. There's a lot of people who, they think like this is it. If we don't win this, they're ready to go guns blazing. Like there's lines drawn in the sand for certain groups and certain situations and certain areas, and they've got people who are on the internet, on all social media platforms, watching us, watching what we're saying, watching the energy, seeing, and I just saw this footage of the riots. I think it was 2020, the riots when they were burning everything down. But Trump was still in, because I remember he was saying something about, because they were knocking down like those statues and stuff, but they were burnt. That's when Seattle and Portland and all that, when they all just went up in flames. And they've already been burned down for this long. And there's still people waiting for it to come to New York too. It's like bizarre world. Like, what? It is so weird. I don't even know. But so this footage, it was showing that, in the violence, in how much the people hated Trump. Oh my God. Even though that they had certain groups, these instigator groups, and the big one that starts with an A, who's owned by the SOAR guy, he, so when it was showing all of that violence and that anger and stuff, I was like, see, this is exactly why they had to wake more people up. Like, can you imagine if they would have just started, saying and doing things then? People wouldn't have, oh my God, we're years in and people still can't see. So, yeah, I think that is what they have been watching, is to see, like, when we wake up, and because we do become a lot less violent when we wake up. And that's what I said. There's so many people who are so out there, so violent, and they think they're awake, but they're so ready to just fucking burn it down and, destroy everything. And I don't know. So anyways, we still have more stuff to go through for sure. And I can't imagine anything about Tuesday going smooth. And if Tuesday goes smooth, which now it's a blood full moon too, so there's even more stuff that the universe is saying, be ready. And when I heard someone explaining about this lunar eclipse and whatever all is involved with this, and it is something about leaving the dark, going into the light, or something, like it represents something big. So I really think that Tuesday is going to be pretty extraordinary. I think it's going to be pretty hot and spicy in some places, dangerous. And a lot of the danger will be that it's there, available, and people will jump in and start the chaos and start creating it. So, like, everything doesn't just have to happen. People will make it happen. So it will be that they will create it, so it will happen, but it doesn't have to happen. But it has to happen because the people have to keep waking up and having to see. So they create it so that they can make it. So I don't know how to explain this, but I can sure see it. And it sure is slow and tedious and annoying, I'll tell you. But I would think Tuesday is going to definitely start shit going, and it is going to, some places are going to be really, really bad, and it's going to keep, and there's already places that you can't find diesel. I've already seen footage of people like going to gas station after gas station, and there isn't any. So there's going to be more and more places that are going to be shutting down, because once there's none of that, there's nothing. There's nothing anywhere. There is no stores. There is no nothing. Like, people think like they can't get to work right now. Well, how are you gonna get to work when there's no buses, there's no gas, there's no cars? Like, your city bus is gonna be going when there's no gas? Is there gonna be people who can drive anywhere when there's no gas? Like, your gas is gonna run out. And at some point, even if the gas stations have gas and people just keep going, like, well, there's no diesel, but at least we got gasoline. It's like, this is this consumer mentality. Like, to me, I was just thinking yesterday, it's just even this whole concept of people thinking like they should never have to be hungry. I should be full and fed at all times. That is such gluttony when you really think about it. And it is that whole consumerism is how people are right now. They should never have to be hungry. They should, and on top of it, there's so many people who are obese who think that way. And, you know, it's just, there's a lot of stuff that people have not put it all together. So, you know, but it's going to keep shutting more and more places down, and it probably will be like a slow, like they're freezing and killing people, and all of the stuff they're doing is so scattered and so slow. But I still say there's going to be something big that will be on top of all of this other stuff, on top of all of the slow treachery that's been going on. Something big will happen that will, you know, be very attention grabbing. And that will really wake people up. And then, I don't know, this whole thing is just confusing. Like, the more stuff, you know, you just keep seeing, and it's like, you have to keep being like, wondering, you know, how is this going to play out? Like, I think it's going to be that there's going to continue to be violence, continue to be people leaving. Like, I think, you know, it may not be as, I don't know. Because, I mean, the sky opens up, it's going to be fucking dramatic. It's going to be like a whole another thing. Like, going into a whole new world. So, and that could happen. Or it could just keep going slowly, dragging little by little, and then all of a sudden, you know, things are starting to get better. Like, it could just keep going like this. Like, we're on the snail's back. Or it can be all of a sudden, boom. I don't know. We gotta see, but I'm definitely expecting shit to go down this week for sure. And once I saw that there's already gas stations that are not having gas, and the people who go out there and keep getting gas, well, at least we have gas. Well, the gas stations are gonna run out of gas, and there's nobody bringing any in. She's sound asleep. I don't even know what you heard. Okay. Anyways, I've already been talking a shit ton. Just rambling anyways. So be prepared. And, you know, just keep on going. Keep on going.